The Neil Haley Show, and my guest today is Dr. Rami Geffner. We're going to talk about his new book, 20 Reasons Why People Dump Each Other. Dr. Geffner, thanks for stopping by. Oh my gosh, wow! And I think that it's very interesting, just the title, where we go from here. That's the first thing. It makes you think, right? Just the
Oh,
title when you came up with this title.
well, first of all, I want it to be catchy because there's a lot of things I talk about in it that I think it affects a lot of people, and they probably are thinking about it, but hearing it is really believing it.
I mean, it's a catchy one. You start thinking about it, and let's go to it. What personal observation or experience inspired you to write 20 Reasons Why People Dump Each Other in Marriage?
Uh, well, you can walk up to anybody who's married or not married who has a relationship and just ask them, how are things going? And say, oh, great. Have you had an argument with the person you're with lately? Oh, yeah. What was it about? Well, how did you handle it? And then shrug their shoulder. They go like, I don't know, I really don't. So I start saying to them, you know what? I just happen to write books about the skills and tools of engaging in conflict with someone you really care about. And the books do is that they talk to you about the conflict and then try to help you figure that out and actually explain a dialogue. Because a lot of people can't find the words to deal with the conflict. Finding a word is the tough one, and you're always nervous about how it's going to affect somebody.
So you're 100% right about that. And I don't know how much I'm going to stick to questions because this is an intriguing topic. And I think it can go so many different routes. But I kind of raise personal experiences as a divorcee myself that you look at specific things and say, why did we break up? What was the reasons we broke up? And there's multiple internal reasons and it grows that when you finally have that breakup most of the time, especially talking a marriage,
Yeah,
talking a or a long-term relationship,
yeah.
it is leading to that. It's not a this I woke up today and say I don't want to be with that person anymore. That's not how it works, right?
No, it does not. It's moments at a time that you lose. Thread by thread, the relationship begins to break up. And the problem is, you know what the major problem? Really, look, I've written like many books on the topic, but the major problem is that we're not sensitized to relationships,
No.
meaning that we're not aware of like what's happening. And because we're not aware, we don't really know how to deal with it. And yet there are things going through your mind and things going through the other person's mind who you're engaged with. And you know what? They get put under the carpet to be, people think that it's just going to go away by itself. Well, nothing goes away by itself. Nothing. So you got to like really interact in a very gentle manner, in a cautious manner to discuss about it and not to get anybody kind of bent out of shape. And what I try to do is bring that awareness and sensitization to people. As a matter of fact, in most of my books, I urge the reader to take the book with them, whether male, female, and hold it and look at it for 15 minutes a day. Just reading 15 minutes a day causes you to become aware and sensitizes you that every relationship has an issue. There is no such thing as a perfect relationship. But if you don't sensitize yourself, like when you're hungry, you eat, right?
Right.
When you're thirsty, you drink. But what happens when you have an issue with your relationship? You don't go to the fridge and you don't go to the faucet. You need something to look at and say, oh God, okay, I'm sensitized to it. And maybe there's something inside the book, a topic that you can relate to and read about, and then go like, oh, that's a great approach. Let me try this. Let me talk about it. Let me feel it. Let me have someone else that I talk
Right.
feel it. That's what I try to do. I try to bring that sensitivity to us because nobody ever speaks about it. And if I don't do it, who else will?
And we're afraid to speak about it. But
Yes.
what do we consider broken? I'm going to go to 20 reasons. See, people got to pick up the book. Trust me, and we'll have a conversation. But I want to learn from you today, and that's one of the big things. And I do interviews. So tell
So,
me
so I'm going to tell you.
why we don't see this, and we
Well,
don't.
so let's get this together. Number one, we have to be aware and sensitive that there are issues. And two is we need to learn how to approach it because people are afraid to talk about it. Why open up a can of worms that you're not sure as to where they're going to lead? But I can tell you something, when you open up that can, those worms become a lot more comfortable and they're not going to leach out. So let me tell you,
Mm,
and people have different reasons. One of the beautiful thing about relationships is that people want to feel that they have equality, okay? That you're not better than she or you're not better than him, that people have equality in a relationship, that nobody's above anybody else. However, because to some extent we are ruled by our hormones and by the nature of being a different gender, there's certain issues that come up on one gender that doesn't lay to the same and the other gender. So let me give you an example, for instance. Okay. So you know what? I prepared a list just so that we can move through it really quickly. So what do women usually complain about? Okay. They complain about number one, and this is done on surveys. Okay. I didn't make these things up. I
okay.
pulled out of the hat. Number one is feeling unseen or unheard.
Yeah.
So you walk into a room or you walk into say, "Hey, honey, how you doing? How's your day?" Da, 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 da. Like just let her know that you're there and that you recognize the fact that she's sitting there waiting for you to come in. Number two is that women tend to complain about empathy. Oh yeah, I was talking to Neil, but yeah, he wasn't really paying attention. He really didn't feel what I feel. He didn't say anything to make me feel better. Even if I said, I understand how you feel, honey. Okay. So empathy, it's called empathy, feeling or taking on the world that your partner lives in and just acknowledging and just, hey, I know how you feel. It must be hurtful. Is there anything I could do to help you think this or feel this out? So that's two. Number three is when you live together, you kind of, what people say, you take each other for granted. What the kind of granted we're talking about is like feeling like a roommate. And I just recently read an article where George Clooney said, I'm beginning to feel like a roommate to a woman I've been married to for the last 10 years. He goes, that's a problem. He said, I know it's a problem in a relationship. So you know what you got to do? You got to break out that monotony, maybe a little more romance, maybe a couple of trips, more dinners, whatever. Okay. So roommate is number three. Number four is communication. Okay. Especially avoiding or minimizing issues because somebody wants to talk about it. But if the other person denies that conversation, you guys are never going to get together and discuss it. And that's the one that gets underneath the rug that slips out now and then and becomes a bigger issue because you haven't dealt with it. Number five is when people feel unequal to each other in the labor of any relationship, what's emotional or physical, and if it's not dealt with, you start feeling a little bit basically pissed off. Okay. Like, why
Mm,
doesn't he see that I'm doing most of it? Doesn't she see that I'm doing most of it? So unequal labor of love, physical thing, whatever, just the fact of someone feeling, hey, he thinks he's better than me. He's not paying attention to the detail that I do. I get like no compliments. This inequality is a big thing, whether it's between lovers or friends in any relationship, right? Agree?
yeah, and it's interesting because we sometimes don't know or realize we're doing that. And these are very little things that can start to eat at you in so many ways. I bring up, you talk about the roommates thing. That's where you really, after getting divorced, I look at relationships in a lot of ways that they can break up quickly. Even if I've been with that person for a while, how can I continue to make it a better environment? How can we still have fun in specific aspects? How can we keep that spark alive, even if it's a short period of time, year, 2 years? You really are identifying the problem we've been trained, Dr. Geffner, is that we've been taught that a relationship lasts for a lifetime. And once you get married, you don't really have to grow.
Oh,
You don't have to improve. You don't have to do things for your lover that you did to get married. And that marriage is a bond, it cannot be broken. So we get lax. We forget about what's important. How can we spice things up? How can we do some really good things for that person? How can we do those little things? How can we be really attentive to their needs?
Neil, in about 4 to 6 weeks from now, there's going to be a book that comes out that I wrote called A Thousand Quotes and 50 Topics in Romantic Relationships. And you know what? There's so much in there that talks about the stuff that you just mentioned. For instance, like, society makes it easy to fall in love, but doesn't show us how to attend to that love. This is the stuff you're talking about, you know? Very important stuff. Very, very important stuff. And you know what? The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what you do, how much money you have in your pocket, how full your fridge is, or what kind of cover you have for a house. The bottom line, if you don't have a great relationship, none of that stuff counts, okay? Because my mother used to say, you should be healthy and you should be happy. That's the goal in life. Because if you're not healthy and you're not happy, what else matters?
What's the purpose of anything in so
Yeah.
many aspects? And we make that mistake. I think that that's why we're starting to see marriage be less. There's less marriage, Dr. Geffner, because we're trying to say we're together not because of a contract, not because of a bond. We're together because we want to be together.
Yes, yes.
And that's why we're seeing less and less marriages. I don't know what the percentages are on that fact, but I mean, I think that a lot of people are not looking at younger people, but I guess after you've been divorced, you're not as likely to want to get married, or you see marriage in a totally different avenue in
Yeah.
your gray years. I don't know. That's considered 60 and older, but I'm 53. But you know what I'm saying? That we see things and we see love differently. We see a lot of things differently.
Yes, and we're a lot more cautious because we're afraid. We've been sensitized to things that didn't go right. And my mission is to decrease divorce rates. I'm not doing this for a local situation here. I'm doing this to change the culture in this country so that people understand they need to start sensitizing themselves to relationships. And the only way you could do it is if, okay, you carry something with you that, look, take this for instance. People go to church, they pray together. And you get such a great feeling praying together. Use the same book. It's called the Bible. Doesn't matter if you're denominational, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim. You go to one place that everybody reads from the same thing, right? Well, I wrote these books. I'm on my 12th book now, okay? Why? To sensitize people to different situations that they're in. I wrote a book on trust, a book on respect, a book on affection and intimacy, a book on roles and responsibilities, and et cetera, et cetera. My intention is I want the public in this country to start becoming aware. If they're not aware and they don't see a need to read a little bit, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes a day, pick up the book and just look at it. My books usually have dialogues before awareness and after awareness. If that doesn't change America, nothing will. But you have to have the will to create the way. And I'm preaching about the will. Please, please will it because it ain't going to get any better unless you help yourself. Okay. Pick up that book and start reading the dialogues before and after and become sensitized
Yeah.
that none of this stuff happens by itself. You have to put a little energy
Right.
into this matter.
So,
Get it?
Dr. Geffner,
Yeah.
is this from through personal experience as well? Why you want to help other couples?
Yes. Number one, I've been married a few times. Okay. Number two is I had over 300 employees in my last practice who I got involved with on in every which way, whether it was financial, social, or emotional. So I've seen this. This is not just a personal thing. I don't write about my personal experience. I write about the research that I do, the people that I deal with, the people I meet. Neil, you go out when you leave your studio today, you stop as any stranger or a friend on the street and say, "Hey, buddy, be truthful with me. How's your relationship going?" And let's say, "Great, great." So you're saying you have a perfect relationship. I say, "Oh, no, I didn't say it was perfect, did I?" I said, "No, so just give me a hint. Give me an issue that you dealt with yesterday." And they'll tell you the issue. And then say, "No, what are you going to do about it?" And they'll go like,
Nothing.
"Not
They
really
they think
sure."
they're going to do it versus,
Yeah.
and I think it'll you see these couples that do fight and they fight healthily. They
Yeah.
it works out much better than the ones when they do have a fight. It's a knockout, drag out, ending fight,
Yes.
and instead of let's really figure this out. And I think it's up to the man in a lot of ways. And this is my take: is that women are very relationship oriented people. Men aren't. They really
Yeah.
aren't.
So we have
Re-
to teach, us guys have to teach each other that it's okay to talk about things. It's okay. Okay. Because we don't talk, nothing's going to get done. So let's talk. What do even if we need to have group men sessions so that we could talk about it, so we feel more comfortable expressing our feelings. Let's
Exactly.
do it. Got it? I'm totally into that. So I'm a no limit guy.
Why do you think so? One of my clients,
Yeah.
Dr. Gilda Carl, she's a relationship expert. She wrote a book called Real Men Don't Go Woke. And she really looks at the men situation that's specifically happening. And she teaches me, all the time. It's about communication, it's about these things. And we got to really put the effort in. And people aren't putting the effort in. And if we look on social media, relationships look like an absolute joke, but men don't know relationships. And I'm sure in your book you address this because men, if they did a few little things right, they'd have a lot better relationship with their wife or significant other.
Men don't need a lot to be happy.
Right.
Let me tell you the five top reasons what makes a man happy, okay?
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
But why would a man dump a woman? Feeling unappreciated and constantly criticized. A
Yeah.
person
And if you,
wants,
you if you if,
that's
if we did
normal.
that, if we
Yeah.
did that to a woman, the woman would be gone day one.
Yeah, right. You know what? Man, listen, tell any woman if you want to keep your man, okay, do these first five things, and I tell you, we could knock that divorce rate down by 5%, 10% for sure, right away. Okay. So number one is like if you tell your man you like really dig what he just did. He just built you a little like outhouse or whatever, a little shack or whatever. You fixed the furniture around the pool. Just tell me how much you appreciate that.
Okay.
Words, you don't have to spend any money saying, "Hey, honey, that's a great job. Thank you."
Yeah.
That's one. Two is men, okay, they complain about the lack of physical intimacy and affection. Well, listen to my book called How to Keep Your Man, comma, the Biology and Rhythm of Sexual Desire. It actually explains to you that both men and women, okay, feel some pressure down there, and everybody's got a different rhythm. But after being with someone for a while, you understand the rhythm. Okay. Let's just talk plain. Okay. A man may get horny every 3 days, maybe 4 days. Okay. Well, women feel the same thing. They get what we call the swell. Okay. And don't doubt that. Every woman has a different rhythm too. We're controlled by hormones. Okay. So when a man says, okay, I lack physical intimacy and affection, well, affection is more of an emotional expression of what goes between you and her. Okay. That's what the affection, it's an expression of love, expression of emotion. Okay. The intimacy is actually the physical contact, but without the emotional component, there ain't no physical. But that's a number two complaint. Okay. The first one is unappreciated. The second one is the lack of intimacy and affection. The third one is when you feel an emotional distance. You know something's wrong because nobody's talking to each other. Nobody's like
Right.
rubbing shoulders. Nobody's, like you're not being kind to each other. So that's number three, emotional distance.
Yes.
Number four is when a man doesn't feel like he's doing enough because he doesn't get the appreciation or the approval or something, and you start saying like, "Why should I do it? Okay, it's never enough for you. Oh, I bought you a nice gift. Oh, but it's not what I wanted. You should have bought something more expensive or something different. Oh, are you telling me it's never enough? Yeah, honey, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Okay, so that's number four. It's not enough. Okay, five is lack of respect or admiration. A man likes to feel like he's alpha. He doesn't have to really act like he's alpha, but he wants to feel like he's alpha, okay? So you know what? Tell him how beautiful his eyes look, that you're crazy about his bald head, that he's got beautiful eyes. I got a laughter out of you. Get it? But listen, seriously, okay? Admire him. Give him just like a woman wants to get some compliments. She dresses up nice for you. If she dresses nice for you and you don't comment on that, oh, honey, you look so beautiful. That just makes the day.
Right.
Little stuff like that.
That's those five. It's crazy. And if you get 2 out of 5 right, the guy's still pretty happy already. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
true. Women, there's 1,000, right?
yeah. But you know what? Seriously, I personally think that women control the world. Okay, a woman can control anything she wants to because they're not so ruled by their emotion as a man is. Seriously, if you really think about it, you know, we have a little emotional center above our spinal cord. Okay, it's called the limbic system. It's about as tiny as a pit of a peach. The rest of our brain is the cerebrum. It's how we develop thought, logic, etc., etc. Now, Neil, I tell you that we're so ruled by that little tiny pit because we get so emotional, but we have to learn how to control those emotions. So if you feel something, you got to think about it. Like, why am I feeling this? Okay, you got to analyze it because what happens with patients that become demented? I wrote a book about dementia and how to deal with people who have dementia. What happens is you cannot overrule the brain of emotion in dementia because your logic is gone, your thought process is gone, and what you do is now you relent to your feelings, okay? That you're spontaneously relenting to your feelings in a form of like feeling safe,
Right.
right? You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I love
You've
doing
written a lot of books, and I know I didn't cover as much about 20 reasons why people dump each other. Well, you got to pick up all of Dr. Geffner's books, but I think we've already talked about a lot of the reasons people dump each other. A man dumping a woman is those 5 reasons you mentioned. Okay. And women, if you're not giving them attention, if you're not empathetic towards them, if you're not trying to spice things up, if you're not doing all these specific things, if you're not trying to meet their needs, if you're treating them like you're better than them, that's going to be another reason why it's going to be a dump. Or you're letting yourself go physically, not working out, you're not trying to keep your looks up, you're not trying to constantly be the better self. A lot of those reasons, if none of those things are happening, a lot of dumping's happening.
So Neil, one day when you want to become one of my coaches, you just give me a call and we'll get you on because you're very good in memory and tone and empathy. Just know that, okay? I'm
Well, I
offering
thank
you a
you.
job.
That's why I have my own agency and I kind of counsel my clients sometimes
Well,
all the
that's
time when
good.
I work with them. And
Yeah.
also I learned I've interviewed over 20,000 plus people or more, and I've got in all walks of life and all different. I have so much to share from what I've learned.
Good.
And what I learned today from you are things I thought and I pinpoint and I said, you know what? We make this mistake. We make this mistake to put ourselves out there, but thank you for the compliment. They put yourself out there and you think, well, what is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Yeah, it probably was you. And I think the mistake is looking at my first marriage. I'm not married yet, but I'm going to be married again soon. I look at it and I say to myself, the reason I screwed it up, first of all, is I did not become who I was supposed to become. I decided to be not the person I am when I got married. I changed, which was not the right change. It did not make me happy. Secondly, I absolutely just was not trying to win every day the relationship, continue to grow it, continue to strengthen it. My focus and intention was on other things. And when that happens, and then you add the other components of my ex, which I'm not here to talk about, I'm talking about my mistakes. I absolutely say that's the problem. And you don't understand what we know now, Dr. Geffner, you and I, when you're in a relationship, what are those red flags that you don't even mess with now? What do you not even get involved? It's a non-negotiable that you know it's not going to last.
You're talking about boundaries and you're talking about things that we haven't even talked about. The one beautiful thing you just did, Neil, is that you did not blame the other person because there's no room to blame. Because if you blame, you can't learn. You can't judge yourself. You can't see what you did that was wrong. So blame is something I talk about too. It's like when we do a no-no, don't blame other people. Look at yourself and ask yourself and analyze yourself. Am I to blame for it? Because don't
Yeah.
blame anybody else. And then learn to forgive. Forgiveness is a big thing, right?
And why hold a grudge? Just move on. The
Exactly.
best way to get even is to improve yourself and to live a
Right.
great life.
Yes.
It's not to go after that person.
Yes.
It's not to try to make that person be in pain. It is to go and move on with your life and do your very best.
That's
That's the
correct.
mistake. We want to get even with our exes all the time, even if they're a pain in the ass and they really make your life a living hell. You cannot allow yourself to let that dictate you. A
That's
lot
why,
of divorced men do that. They
yeah.
constantly are talking about the ex and talking about this instead of moving forward and transforming their lives.
Yes, that's called negative energy. So, like, let's put that negative energy, let's learn from our mistakes. Let's not blame people. Let's forgive for whatever happened and get better and do better things, right?
Well, Dr. Geffner, you're doing such great things. Where is the best place people can pick up 20 reasons why people dump each other and all your other books?
So, if you go to my website, regeffner.com, regeffner.com, or a lot of them are on Amazon, but this month, five of my new books will be out. There's five on relationships right there, right now, but five new books will be coming out this month. And then just keep looking for my series because I mean to change America's divorce rates and problems with relationships. I am here to make sure the American people become more sensitized to the way they deal with each other so we could decrease collateral damage. Because when we get divorced, it doesn't affect just us, it affects our children, our grandkids, etc., etc. So, my mission, my absolute mission in life is to make sure we could decrease divorce rates, collateral damage, separation, and all the negativity that people need to start understanding in their relationship. And I will be more than happy to do another show with you, Neil, so I could keep preaching and we could keep rapping about things that you will find immensely interesting, as your audience will too. Promise, promise.
All right, then talk to your team and we'll make it happen. All right, sound good? I appreciate it, Dr. Geffner. That was the special. That was the Neil Haley show. Really great interview with Dr. Geffner. Take care, guys.
Uh,